cat camel. The benefit of this exercise is to improve your overall spinal mobility. We are dividing the spine into 3 parts: cervical, thoracic and lumbar. You will set up in a kneeling position, checking your wrist under your shoulder, knee under your hip, toe under your heel. With a nice long inhale, you will round your back on all 3 points. The 3 points are upper back, shirt collar, mid back and lower back. Think of imagining like an angry cat. Repetitions required are 8 to 10. You will inhale as you round your upper back. You will exhale as you hyperextend your lower back, completing the cat camel. Standing shoulder rotations and standing retractions. These movements benefit shoulder mobility. We are targeting our rotator cuff muscles, which aid in all kinds of shoulder functions. You are in a standing position, creating a wide arm circular rotation, clock and anti-clock. Repetitions required in all 3 directions are 8 to 10. Exhale when the arm is crossing over the ear. For your shoulder rotations, keep a straight elbow position, engaging your lats. For your retractions, the elbows are bent at a 90 degree. Exhale when you bring your arm down. Inhale when you are pushing your arm up. Hip rocks. The benefit of this exercise is to help you stretch and mobilize your lower back, along with internally rotating your hip. We are targeting the erector spinae and quadratus lumborum of your lower back exercise groups, along with hip internal rotators. Lie comfortably on your back, bend both the knees and gently rotate side to side. Repetitions required here are 6 to 8 each side. Exhale out when you are rotating one knee towards the ground while rotating your neck in the opposite direction. Standing T rotation. This is an integrative exercise to improve your overall thoracic mobility. We are targeting your upper back muscles, mainly your latimus dorsi, rotator cuff. You will start in a standing position, thereby hinging at the hip, bending on the knee and supporting your opposite arm outside your opposite ankle. Take a long inhale, bring your arm in front of your chest, exhale and rotate towards the ceiling. As you rotate on your neck, eyeballing the ceiling. Repetitions required are 8 to 10 per side. Lying swimmers. The benefit of this exercise is to improve your overall shoulder mobility. We are working on your supraspinatus, infraspinatus, subscapularis and your entire rotator cuff muscle group. Lie on your chest with your chin tucked in, forehead pushing in the ground and glutes engaged. You are looking at doing 8 to 10 repetitions on each side collectively. Use a wide side arm position as you bring your elbows back, touching your hand onto your hip. This is a great exercise to improve your overall shoulder circumduction. Exhale when you are bringing the hands backwards towards your hip. Side-lying T rotation. The main benefit of this exercise is that it enforces thoracic mobility. We are working on releasing your upper back muscles, which get tight mainly because of sedentary life. You will lie down sideways, keeping your inside leg straight, mounting your top leg on top of a foam roller. Place your inside hand on your top knee. Create a rotational movement on your arm, rotating in front of your chest and going all the way back. You are targeting 8 to 10 repetitions each side. Please ensure that you exhale as you take your arm behind your chest and shoulder, touching the back of your palm all the way to the ground. T extension. The main benefit of this exercise is that it differentiates thoracic mobility. Instead of thoracic rotation as done in previous exercises, this focuses purely on thoracic extension or elongating your spine. We are working on your shoulder and upper back muscles. You will set up in a kneeling position with both knees on the ground. You will mount your elbows on an elevated surface like a bench or a couch. From here, you will hold your head down, interlock your fingers, push your hip back, and create a deep exhaling pattern as you hold each repetition for 3 to 5 seconds. You can target a total of 5 reps, holding for 10 to 15 seconds in each rep. Exhale with that face down position and maximize your hold. Animal downward dog. This is an integrative exercise. This works on multiple aspects. It works on shoulder flexion extension, it works on posterior chain flexibility, thereby stretching your hamstrings, glutes and calf. You will set up in a kneeling position, checking your wrist under your shoulder, knee under your hip. By pressing your hands, gently raise your knee off the ground. This is your starting position as an animal. From here, think of a mountain peak, pushing your hip towards the ceiling and going into a head down, head between the arm position. You will exhale each time you go from animal to a downward dog position and inhale while reversing the movement. You can target 8 to 10 reps in this exercise to make it effective. Frog sequence, double leg and single leg. The frog pose is a great hip mobilizer as it works on your hip abductors and adductors. We are working over here on abducting the hip or opening the hip, targeting your entire hip abductor-adductor complex. You will set up in a kneeling position and then splay your knees outwards by rotating your toe away from your heel, setting your elbows in the ground much like a plank position. With a neutral hip, you will push your hip back behind your knee, creating a rocking or a cradling movement. After you have completed 10 to 15 double leg frog, you will then change to a single leg frog, whereby you are abducting on one leg straight sideways while holding the opposite leg bent. The foot remains at the rear in plantar flexion. The abducted leg, the leg is kept straight with the toe pointed towards the seal and no bend on the knee. From here, you will cradle your hip back and forth, creating at least 10 to 15 repetitions each side. Make sure you breathe out when you are pushing your hip back. Glute bridge. The main benefit of this exercise is that it helps lower back pain through improving hip extension. This also counteracts majority of us sitting for long hours in a chair. We are targeting the glute maximus, the glute medius in this exercise. You will lie on your back with your knees bent at a 90-degree angle, checking your heel under your knee. Foot arch is engaged by keeping all 5 toes pressed. Exhale and drive your hip towards the ceiling without overarching your hip on the top. Create 10 to 15 reps. Start with both feet on the ground together, calling it the double leg glute bridge. Big toe extension. The main benefit of this exercise is to discriminate between ankle mobility and big toe mobility. We are targeting the toe extensor muscles of our feet. You will set up in a kneeling position with both knees on the ground. Place both hands on the back of your heel, keeping your elbow straight and resting your hip comfortably on top of the heel. Exhale and hold this position for 10 to 15 seconds and then gradually extend on your hip, creating a progression in the terms of movement. This is required for 3 to 5 times or 3 to 5 repetitions, with each repetition being held for 10 to 15 seconds. Lying ankle rotations. The main benefit of this exercise is to improve your ankle mobility. Here we are targeting your calf muscles and your tibialis anterior shin muscle group. In order to set up for this exercise, lie on your back, keep one leg bent and pull the opposite knee close to your chest. Supporting your knee, try to create clock and anti-clock rotations, followed by pulling the toe in, dorsiflexion, pulling the toe out, plantar flexion. You are required to do 10 repetitions in each direction. Exhale as you complete each rotation in each direction. Baby cradle position, arm circle. The main benefit of this exercise is to improve your shoulder mobility and your reduction in tight lats. We are targeting muscles of your shoulder in addition to muscles of your upper back, mainly your latimus dorsi. You will lie down sideways, bringing both knees close to your chest, and then you will create a circular arm action by pointing your palm towards the ceiling. One repetition comprises of a circumduction movement, going from your knee to your chest to your hip and then reversing the movement. You are required to do 5 to 6 repetitions on each side. In order to improve the movement, exhale whenever you feel your arm is feeling tight and you are unable to maneuver yourself. Constant exhaling is a good option in this exercise. Figure 4 hold. The main benefit of this exercise is to create a simple option to mobilize your hip. We are targeting your glute maximus, which is your main glute muscle, along with piriformis. You will lie down on your back. You will cross one knee opposite the other leg, pulling the same leg towards yourself, creating a figure 4 like position. You are required to do 5 to 6 repetitions, holding each repetition for 10 to 15 seconds. As you maintain a constant position, try to exhale out normally, creating a sense of ownership in this position. 90-90. This exercise is meant for hip internal rotation. We are targeting all the unique glute medius, which is a hip internal rotator, and other internal rotators of the hip. You will set up by sitting on the ground, keeping your knees bent. Start by keeping your hands either behind your hip if you are comfortable, or placing your hands in front of your chest if you are confident. Thereby create a rocking movement, moving both knees internally at 90 degrees towards one side. When you are rotating from side to side, make sure your foot remains planted on the ground and you exhale out when you are rotating. Number of repetitions suggested are 8 to 10 on each side. Spider-Man T rotation. This is seen as the world's greatest stretch and a total body movement. Think of this as a full warm-up to your body before starting a strength exercise. Over here we are targeting the hip extension, hip flexion, thoracic rotation, shoulder flexion, shoulder extension. You will start in a push-up position, thereby bringing one leg outside your elbow, bending on the elbow, touching the ground and rotating towards the ceiling. You will exhale as you rotate from the ground towards the ceiling in each repetition. Being an integrative exercise, we recommend 8 to 10 reps on each side.